Steven Guilbault, Canada's Environment Minister, he was making an announcement today related to climate change and the government's carbon tax. He was in New Brunswick stating during a speech that he was going to be giving, or the government was going to be giving, $20 million of carbon pricing proceeds to the New Brunswick provincial government through the Future Electricity Fund. The money to go toward the province's program aimed at helping homeowners reduce energy costs through home efficiency upgrades. At least that's what they're asserting. So he was there making this announcement, but also being asked about a developing story which has just come to light here, which is that Iriving Oil in Canada is looking to potentially sell off its company. That Iriving Oil could sell. It's on the market. And according to company officials, it's because of the federal government's policies on climate change. And the buck on that stops right at Steven Guilbault's desk. He is the Minister of Environment and Climate Change. A climate activist, some would say climate radical extremist, who, before becoming a politician and being elected to government, at one point scaled the CN Tower to unfurl a Greenpeace banner and was then subsequently arrested, charged. Now he's in charge of the Environment and Climate Change portfolio. Well, today, responding to questions about the negative impact his policies have been having on the oil industry in Canada, this way.
So Premier Higgs says Iriving's oil strategic review and possible sale of the refinery is due in part to your climate policies. What would you have to say to that?
I can't really comment. I'm not an expert on oil markets. What I will say, there was a report that came out today, or maybe it was at the end of last week, that said that in order to ensure the future of the refinery, it needs to invest in decarbonization, which is exactly what our government is doing through a number of different initiatives to help industries in different sectors, but including in the oil and gas sector, invest in decarbonization. We know that the world is moving towards decarbonization. According to the International Energy Agency, we will, in the transportation sector, we're consuming about 40 million barrels of oil a day. That will go down to about 2 million barrels of oil in 2050, because everyone is moving towards electrification of their transportation all around the world. According to the same International Energy Agency, 5 years ago, 1 in 5 vehicles sold in the world was an electric vehicle. 1 in 20 3 years ago. Today it's 1 in 5, 20% in the world. In Quebec, it's 20%. In BC, it's 25%. On average, in Canada now, it's about 10%. So Canadians are embracing electrical vehicles, which will obviously drive down the demand for oil, refined product in Canada, but also all around the world. And clearly, for these companies, the future is in alternatives, which is why we're helping them invest in biomass, alternative fuels, hydrogen, because that's where the world is heading.
Thank you. And do you think a large oil refinery like that has a future? And is there a business case for it to be operating in 10 or 20 years?
Well, I think clearly we will still need to be using fuels, but we will be using different type of fuels. I spoke about hydrogen. We could talk about different types of alternative fuels that are being produced. And in fact, we're seeing in Canada investments in hundreds of millions of dollars come by chance in Newfoundland, in Saskatchewan, in Quebec, Enercam. There are multiple examples of companies, including oil companies, Shell, Suncor, Imperial, investing in these initiatives because they see that's where the future is heading, and the federal government wants to be a partner with them to make that transition.
We'll see, the government has gone all in on electric vehicles billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars being pumped into the electrification of the auto industry, the retooling of factories, assembly lines to accommodate the production of batteries for electric vehicles. And if it does not work, I think we're again in for a heap of hurt. Cross your fingers. It's going to be a wild ride. I'll be right back after this.
The information war is raging. Truth without integrity is worth nothing. Maverick News. Because those who have power and those who seek it must be held accountable.
The world is watching.
Join our family of truth seekers. Donate today and add your voice to the chorus of Maverick Knights. Donate at maverickdonations.com. Truth. Integrity. It's the Maverick way. Maverick News. The world is watching.